Selma and welcome to my book journey. So today I have a tag video that I was tagged in by Anne over at In Search of Wonder, and she has created a brand new tag for our Prairie Trail Readathon that we're having this month. And so she reached out to me and said, hey, she was inspired, of course, by the game, the Oregon Trail video game. And so she has this tag, she created this tag, and she has a video up as well, and I will link that below so you can see her answers for the tag. So like I said, she has tagged me along with two other booktubers, and hopefully they will be able to do this tag as well. And so let's just get right into it and answer these questions. And she's so clever. She's so clever with her tag questions. And of course, this is all has to do with the Prairie Trail Readathon that is going on, like I said, in the month of August. If you don't know about that, if you haven't heard that before, it's not too late to join in with us. And I will link my announcement video below if you are interested in finding out more about the type of readathon that's happening and all the things that are happening, and then just the prompts and book ideas and that kind of thing. So I'll link all of that below. Okay, so let's go see. She's given us 11 questions, and I have gone through these already and picked out, answered them. So I'm not doing this on the fly, but so let's see this. So number one, the first question she has for us is stocking up and starting off. And so like the wagon trail, people on the wagon trail, they had to stock up their wagons, and oh my goodness, the things and the amount of things they had to take with them. It's not like there's stores along the way, right? They have to take everything that they feel like they're going to need during that trip that took months across the country. So that's the first prompt, or the first question, stocking up and starting off. And she says, if you had to go on a trip today, or maybe tomorrow, what two books would you be packing to go with you? And so these are books that you're currently reading or you're going to read next. So I have those two books here. So I would definitely take the book I'm currently reading because, oh my goodness, this book, I can't wait to talk to you about this book. It is so good. And that is The Scarlet Thread by Francine Rivers. This book I am buddy reading with Cheryl over at Candlewick Library, and we both are invested in this book. I mean, it's like, oh my, it's a page turner, and you just want to know. And we're only reading 3 chapters a day, but it's so good. It's so good. And yeah, I can't wait to talk about it in this in my wrap up. So this one I definitely would take because I'm so close to the end. I need to take it with me. I need to find out what happens. So there's that one. And then the book that I am excited to read. So as soon as I'm done with that one, I'm going to pick up another book that has to do with, of course, the Prairie Trail, and that is One More River to Cross by Jane Kirkpatrick. And since the Scarlet Thread had the theme of people on the Prairie Trail, I just want to keep going with that one. It's inspired me to want to read more stories, and which is good because I thought that maybe I would, I wouldn't want to read back-to-back Prairie Trail stories, but I really do because the Francine Rivers book is making me want to read more of that. So that's what I'm going to be picking up next. And that is, like I said, One More River to Cross by Jane Kirkpatrick. Question number 2 is injury and disease. And I can tell you that's happening in the book I'm reading right now. A lot of injury and disease is happening. So her question is, what health or wellness nutrition nonfiction book has been most helpful or informative for you? So I really had to stop and think about this one. So a health book, a nutrition book, a book about health that I actually read that's nonfiction. I had to go back, way back in my life. And this has to be, oh my goodness, I'm trying to think, when did I actually read this book? It might have been like 10, 15 years ago that I read this book. And the book I'm talking about, I don't have it now. I had it back then, but gotten rid of books since then. This one was called it's called Stop the Insanity, and I forgot to write down the author's name, but I will put it up here. And some people, you may have heard of this book. Like I said, it was out a long time ago. And the reason I read this book, it was like a wellness book, a health book, but more so like maybe like a memoir of this woman's experience with the whole weight issue as a woman, dealing with, you know, being overweight in her life, raising small children in a marriage, and just starting to make good choices for her life and getting healthy again. And so I remember reading that book, and I read the whole book, and I really enjoyed it. I liked her story because I could really relate to it as a young mother back then as well. And I learned some things from that book, and it inspired me at the time when I read it to try to eat healthy and be more active as far as my weight and everything. But your whole health journey really is a journey. I have ups and downs where I have gone through my life where I've lost a lot of weight, and then I've gained weight, I've lost weight, I've gained weight, been just up and down, just a roller coaster. And that's how most people do as well. And I've tried to do better with my health as far as eating and stuff. And over the years, I've realized it's not so much what's on the scale. It is actually just trying to do things to have a healthy life and make it a lifestyle. And I have done that really since 2019, when I started to actually exercise daily. And I started exercising daily and really changing my diet. And there for a while, I think I've talked about this on my channel. It's been a while, but I had actually lost 50 pounds back in that time period. And it wasn't, and it was all effort. It was not like a crash diet. It was not like fasting or starving myself or anything. It was all hard work of working out, daily workouts, and then watching what I ate and eating good foods and stuff. But then life happens, and I had a period of time where I just was very stressed and had some family loss. And so I'm kind of back to going up and down again and trying to get back, although I do still exercise daily. It's just harder because I'm older, and but I'm not giving up. I'm still trying to live healthy for myself. Okay, so next one, number 3 is Wagon Repair, and that we have often because you think about when going across the country, they didn't have like rubber tires the way we do, or going across in a train, but they had these wooden wagon wheels. And oh my god, I don't know how they managed to keep those wheels on the wagon all the time. So we have Wagon Repair, and this one says, is there a book you own that is in very poor condition, or do you have a book that has been repaired that you keep it because of sentimental reasons? And so I was reading these questions to Kenny, and I was like, I need to find these answer these questions with some books. And when I read him that question, he right away had the book, and it is my Bible. And so a little cute fun story. So Kenny and I started dating in 2000. Oh my goodness. Kenny and I started dating in 1988, I think. I think so. And then for our year anniversary of dating, he gifted me a Bible. So he gifted me a Bible for our 1-year anniversary. And at the time, I was not a believer. I mean, I grew up I grew up going to church every Sunday with my family, but I was not a believer. I just went to church just because my mom told me to go to church. So at this point in time, faith, that was not part of my life at all. And, I was young and everything. And so when he handed me this Bible for my first anniversary, I was like, what? Why are you giving me this? Why are you giving me a Bible? Well, many years later, of course, we ended up getting married. I ended up becoming a believer 6 years into our marriage. That's a whole interesting story, testimony story. So, but years later, I still had the Bible. And, you know, after 6 years, I pulled out that Bible that he gave me and started reading it. And reading it and reading it and reading it and just tearing through it and just reading it and reading it. And, you know, that's what God does. He sends you the Holy Spirit and you just consume it and you just want to drown yourself in his word. And so that's what I did. And so I really beat up this poor Bible. And then so many years later, I was looking at my Bible, and it was, you know, the binding was coming off, and the page, the cover, because it wasn't like a leather fancy Bible or anything like that. But you know, but I didn't want to. I wanted to keep it. Because it was special to me. I had things written in here, notes and everything. And so we went to a Christian bookstore, and they had this thing where you could send in your books, Bibles, and they would rebind them for you. So I did. And so that's my Bible here. And so I had this rebound. And so this is the new cover they put on it. And then I also had my name written on there. And because I think the other one, I'm trying to think, Kenny's not here where I can ask him, but I think my other one I think he did put my name on it, but it was my maiden name. So now I had my married name on here, and they did a really great job of putting it all together, binding it up. And so that one is one book that I have actually had repaired, and is obviously is very special to me, not only because it's God's word, but it is the gift that Kenny gave me on our first anniversary. So very sentimental for sure. The next question is number 4 is hunting, and that is, what author or genre or titles do you specifically look for when you're out hunting, you're browsing for books, either, you know, at bookstores and things like that? When I go to the bookstore, I usually look for Christian fiction titles, and just as an example, and it has to do with book read-alongs. Like if I find out that somebody's doing like a read-along of a particular author, and this year is the read-along of Francine Rivers with Oshina's channel, and so I had been on the lookout for that specific author to try to find those books that she had on her for her read-along for this year. Now I know that another booktuber is contemplating or is thinking about doing another kind of read-along for next year, for 2027. So I'm definitely going to be on the lookout for those books by that particular author. And so that's what I usually do. I usually try to find books by authors I've already read before, or like a series. Like if I have book 1 in a series, and then I try to find, you know, the rest of the books in this series. That's usually what I try to look for when I'm on the hunt and looking for books. Number 5 says, cooking over a campfire. What is your favorite cookbook and or website or vlog? Okay, I'm glad she put website or vlog, because I do not use cookbooks. I never have, really. I've had, you know, cookbooks that were given to me or I picked up, but, you know, I never really, maybe I did one recipe out of the cookbook. What I've done in the past many times is a website called All Recipes, and I usually find things that I can make there, and I like it because it has like easy recipes that you can click on, and I love the way it's laid out. And it's been a while since I've actually gone and found some recipes, but that's usually my go-to. I always look up All Recipes is the name of the website, and I found some good ones over the years. Question number 6 is fort or town restocking. You know, if they had to go to the forts in between on their way to restock their supplies. And so her question is, where do you source most of your books? That is, where do you buy most of your books? Do you buy them online? Do you go to a certain bookstore in town? Where do you find your books? So for me, most of the books that I have on my shelves are used books. I hardly ever buy brand new books. every once in a while I will buy a brand new book if I go to like to a special bookstore, or if I have a gift card or that kind of thing. But usually, for the most part, all of my books are used, and I have this for the past couple of years. I've been going to my local library, has a library sale twice a month, and their store is huge, and they get books, new books every week, and so there's always so many. Yeah, always so many. So I have that local library that I go to. I've been to other library sales in other towns, but that's the main one. And then I go to my local Goodwill. I have 2 Goodwill stores that are really close to me, and I have found some pretty good books there as well. Okay, number 7, a sad one. This one is grief and loss, because on the Prairie Trail, like we had injury and disease before, people will have lost loved ones when they go across the prairie. It's very sad. So what books would you be most, her question is, what books would you most loathe to part with if you were ever forced to downsize your library? Now, so it's like if you have to move, and we've Kenny and I have done that many times, and we have gotten rid of things, boxes and boxes of books that we've gotten rid of in the past. So many I don't even remember. But right now, if I would have had to downsize, what books would I would like hold? I was like, no, I'm not going to give up these books. I'm going to keep them. And I do have some books that right away I thought of. These are the books that I would be very sad and I would not want to part with, because this is a series, a beloved series to me. And a lot of these I have, the author has signed. So that's another reason why I wouldn't want to get rid of them. But what I'm talking about is the Timeless series by Gabriel Meyer. And so this is a set of, what's the last one? What is it? Book 7. And I will one day have all the books. She is going to be doing 10 in this series. Let me set these down. They're heavy. So she's doing 10. So eventually I will have 10 of those. And those are the books I don't want to get rid of. They're special to me for a couple reasons. One is I just love the story. I love the whole time travel element in this book, and the fantasy and the historical fiction and the places that these characters have been in time. I love that. But also it was one of the books that that really got me my joy and everything back for reading. So I love that. So definitely don't want to get rid of those, chuck those off my wagon. I'm going to keep those. Okay. Number 8, River Crossing. What is a book that always refreshes and encourages you? A book that you return to over and over again. So I am not a big rereader at all. I think I've only reread maybe a few books recently, but I'm not a big rereader. So, but I am a rereader of the Bible, and this one definitely is a book that refreshes me over and over again, especially when I'm going through some hard times or just in my general everyday Bible reading. It is something in my life that has helped me and refreshed me, and I reread it over and over. I have gone through the whole Bible, I think twice. I've read it twice all the way through. One year I just started from the beginning and, did like a reading plan and read through the whole year. And then one time I did it chronologically, where it's in the order that the events happened, which was really interesting. I really liked doing it chronologically rather than the way it is in the Bible as it is set up. So yes, so that is definitely a book that refreshes my soul. Number 9, the opposite, Desert Crossing. What is a dry and boring book you couldn't wait to finish, but you did? So I had to go back through my Goodreads, because I usually only read books that I know pretty much that I'm gonna enjoy, that people have recommended. And so I don't have a lot of DNFs, but this one says you actually finished the book, but you didn't enjoy it. And I don't have a whole lot of that. So I had to go way back. And so I did find one, and it's called, and I used to own it, but I have unhauled it. Good for me. I unhauled a book. I had this book called The Deep Blue, and the cover, I mean, I think that's one of the things that got me, was the beautiful cover. And this is Deep Blue by Jennifer Donnelly. It is a YA fairy tale retelling, I think, of, or not, maybe not even a fairy tale retelling, but just a book about mermaids. And I believe I picked it up because I needed it for maybe a prompt, or actually I know exactly when I bought it. I bought it at McKay's several years ago, and sadly the McKay's closest to us has closed. But I remember picking up the book, and I think I picked up the whole set. And they, like I said, the covers were really great. I only read book 1 and I didn't like it. I was bored. I really was bored, and I didn't continue the series. I ended up just unhauling the whole set that I bought. So that was good for me, because sometimes I will, when I get a series, because I feel like, hey, I bought the whole series, I should read the whole series. But I did not with that one. I was like, no, I would just be wasting my time. For me, I know some people enjoy that, but I didn't connect with it, and I didn't like it. So that one got that one got unhauled, but I did finish reading it. Number 10, Mountain Crossing. What is a book you have read that was very heavy? And so this could either be like an actual heavy book that is has a lot of pages, weight, or subject matter. So I decided to do subject matter. And the first book that popped into my head for this one is Before We Were Yours by Lisa Wingate. And I don't own this one either. I had checked it out from the library when I read it the first time. Well, I've only read it one time. And this book is so heavy because it's such a heavy and hard topic. It deals with children that are being kidnapped, abused in this story. And when I read it, you know, it is a compelling story, because you want to know what happens to these children in this particular family and what they went through, being abducted from their home and basically being taken to like an orphanage, and then they were basically sold to rich families. It was a hard story, and the story was told from the perspective of a young girl and her siblings, and it was so sad, so emotional, such a heavy, like I said, heavy topic. And then what really got me was at the end, I read the author's note, and that you find out that this is, I mean, the story and the characters were fiction people, but these events really did occur in real life. And one of our characters, who was like the worst character in the book, was actually a real person, and it was really her. And she really did all these things and really was never held accountable for her actions. So it was a horrifying to read that, to know that this actually happened in our history, and that this particular person got away with it. So that one was definitely a heavy book for me. Okay, so now we come to the last question, and that is 11. And so she's going like with this story where you choose your own ending. That's what this book is. You choose your own path, and so you choose your own ending. So we have 2 things at the end. So you can either during the gameplay, if you have died of dysentery, and Anne says a lot of people, when you play the game, that's usually where you end up dying of dysentery. And so if you've died of dysentery, that means you have to hand over the reins. You know, somebody else has to take over your wagon. And so for this, you are going to choose 3 booktube channels that are new to you, that you've just met, or you've just started recently watching on booktube. Or the second choice is that you make it, that you make it to where the place, you know, California, Oregon, wherever you're at, and there you're going to tag 3 booktube besties that you have been following for years, or somebody that you really enjoy on booktube, and these are going to be like your neighbors that you meet in this new area. So I decided to go with the first one, even though even though it's kind of sad that I'm saying I died. I didn't make it. I wanted to do that because I wanted to tag 3 new booktubers that are booktube, and they have newer channels, so you all get to know who they are, and I will tag them below so you will see. So the first one I'm going to tag is Jamie. She has recently started a booktube channel, and her channel is Read Brucey, and so I'll put her channel name up here. So I'm going to tag her for this book tag, and hopefully she will be able to do it. And then I'm going to tag Julie over at Rooted Reading. She's such a sweet gal, and I'm going to tag her as well. And then I'm going to tag Heather over at the Reading Mama. Heather gives me great book recommendations. She's another homeschool mama, and I love watching her videos. And she's a newer channel to me, and so I'm going to tag her as well. So Jamie, Julie, and Heather are going to be my new neighbors, or no, not my new neighbors. These are the ones I'm going to hand over the reins to because I died of dysentery. Oh my goodness, so sad. So they're going to help me out and get the rest of my family, I guess, to my place, which, you know, it sounds very familiar to the book I'm reading. Very realistic to Prairie Trail books. Okay, so that is the Prairie Trail book tag. Thank you, Anne, for putting this together, and you're so creative with the questions. And so if I haven't tagged you, you can still do the tag. If you have a channel, go ahead and do this. Hopefully, if you want to do this, I'll leave all the questions below. You can do the tag as well. It doesn't matter if I tag you or not. And if you don't have a booktube channel, you're just watching, answer some of the questions below. I'd love to hear your responses. All right, you all have a blessed day. Bye-bye.